said, my name is Jacob Wathen. I am a realtor with Uptown Properties, licensed in Oregon and Washington. And I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the April market update. If you hear last week, I did last month, I did last month as well, and things are pretty similar. So we'll go fairly quickly. But we'll start out with total active listings. Total active listings increased by 9.2% from March to April. You can see we are still, if you look at the past 2 years, 2020 and 2019, we are quite a bit lower when it comes to active listings. So again, pretty much on par with how this year has gone, January to April, but we did increase a little bit year to date. All right, and then new listings. As I mentioned last month, we expected the number of new listings to follow the 2019 line instead of dropping like it did last year, and we all know why. So yeah, it did, of course, follow the 2019 line, and we did get more listings in April than in March. We got 42.8% more homes on the market in April of 2021 compared to 2020, and a 17.3% increase from March to April. That being said, there are still some sellers out there that are holding off on listing their property for a variety of reasons, one of which being that they just still don't know if they'll be able to find a replacement property. Some people are also still waiting for more people to get the vaccines and for things to just open up a little bit more in general. But otherwise, we are getting a lot more listings, which is wonderful. And it's still a great time to list properties. So if you're either thinking about it or if you've got clients thinking about it, please list them. All right, and pending sales. Pending sales were at 3,400, which was an increase of 66.6% from the 2,041 offers accepted in April of 2020, and a 1.6% increase from last month. So just a little bit of an increase, not too significant month to month, but we're still sitting pretty high in terms of pending sales compared to the previous 2 years. All right, and the number of closings at 2,946 was pretty significantly high last month in April. Of course, it was going to be significantly higher than April of 2020, like I mentioned, but it did far surpass April numbers from 2017 all the way to 2020. So quite a bit higher, kind of the same gap that we saw from July all the way to December. But there was a little bit of a, in January, there were less closed sales than obviously now. So that's great. Kind of back on track. And then comparing 2021 to 2020 through April, the average sale price has increased 16.9%. Which is the same number we saw last month, from $465,200 to $543,900. And that is, if for anyone bad at math, I did use a calculator, of course, but that is a $78,700 increase in equity, and that's passively. So if they didn't do anything to their property, their value would likely increase by 16.9%, which is great. All right, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It seems like my microphone switched over. So the total market time decreased by 10 days to 27 days. As you can see, the drop in market time is common for this time of year, but we're still looking at much lower numbers than we were in the past years. So instead of 27, we're looking closer to like 43 last year and 52, around 52 the year prior. And of course, most of us know by now that homes listed at a reasonable price on Thursday will likely be receiving multiple offers over the weekend, and they'll be pending by Monday or Tuesday. So that's not a big surprise to most of us. All right, and then inventory held steady at 0.8 months in April, even with more homes being listed. So just means that the buyer demand is still there. And this is just an overview of the residential highlights. There isn't too much I wanted to touch on here, but you can really see the total market time
difference in this table. Year to date, this year we are at 36 days for total market time, whereas this time last year we were at 61 days on market year to date. So a very significant drop in the days on market year to date from 2020 to 2021. All right, and then here are the Portland Metro April and March small multifamily statistics. One thing I wanted to mention is that the number of cash sales is up significantly and the number of conventional sales is slightly down. I think it was 10 cash sales in March and 15 in April. Overall, we are down three closed sales from March to April, so it's not that significant. And overall, they're still selling for about what they're listed for, which is great. Nothing too surprising there. One thing I did see is there's a VA loan, only one of them, and that one was on the market for 243 days. So that is a pretty significant amount of time. And that probably skewed the days on market overall. And then one item worth noting that just recently happened is that the Senate Bill 282 was signed yesterday, for anyone that doesn't know, which gives tenants in Oregon until February 28th, 2022 to pay past due rent due to the pandemic. And I believe the same article said that in March, more than 17% of Oregon renters said they were not caught up on their rent payments. So that will certainly help them. And it could also lead to some owners of multifamily properties needing to sell with tenants in place that just aren't paying rent. And that Senate bill did not actually impact the eviction moratorium, which still is scheduled to end on June 30th. But yeah, that is everything that I've got for you. Does anyone have any questions or any other thoughts?